If you really want to be successful and at doing something that you really, really love, you can't wait until everything's perfect, because nothing ever will be perfect. You can't be afraid, and you have to be willing to take risks, because without those three things, you'll just always be thinking about, well, you know, I want to do that, I think I can do it, and I think I can be successful. It will just always be, I think. You've got to find people to support you. It was really finding the coaching that NPE provided that made all the difference. I got into the fitness industry really coming full circle from corporate. I was an athlete all through high school. I wanted to continue playing sports in college, but I wasn't sure how to do that if you don't get your degree in a related field. And I knew I didn't want to teach. I didn't want to be a coach. I just wanted to play sports. So I kind of figured I couldn't do that in college. So I got a degree in communications, went into corporate. Did marketing, public relations, I did some ghost writing, things like that. It prepared me very well to do what I'm doing now, but it's not what I loved. So I was always really kind of looking for a way to get back into the fitness industry, the fitness field. So I thought, well, I love being in the gym, I love training, I'll become a bodybuilder. Why not? I'd always wanted to. But I soon found out that just continuing to do that would really take a toll on the body. And I wasn't young when I decided to do it. I was 38. And I knew that my body wouldn't take that for long. So I was still looking, trying to find that answer when I decided to go to work for a wellness center in the nonprofit sector. Loved it. Knew I'd found my niche and that I had to keep doing that. So after I left the wellness center, I became a personal trainer and opened my own business. But after you do that for a few years, you know, there are only so many hours in the day, so only so many clients you can train, only so much money you can make. I knew that the next step was going to be having my own facility. Unfortunately, that took that was a gym. I became a co-owner of a gym, and it just did not work out well. I didn't like the dynamic of, you know, just sell, get members, and try to make as much money as you can, and sign them up for some personal training, and okay, maybe they don't get great results, just sign them up for some more. So I knew if I was going to continue to make this my chosen field for the remainder of my life, that it had to be a completely different dynamic. And that's when I really started thinking, you've got to have your own facility. It has to be a studio environment, because you know now that the gym is not what you want it to be. And that's how it all started happening. That's how the spark happened. And I'm standing in my own facility right today. And it's been great. I'd been getting information from Eric off and on. You know, I would read it, I'd get his emails and think, wow, that's great information. But when I really started to seriously think about the studio and how was I going to make it happen, I knew that I had to get the business part of it down, because it wasn't going to be successful if I just tried to figure that out on my own and just, you know, fly free. So I went back, started reading the material over, and really started taking to heart some of the things he said. And I went to a conference that was about you know, running a better fitness business. And I met Eric and got some really great information from him, and the conference was good, and I learned a lot and knew that if I continued to learn things like that, I would be successful. So I came back, really started thinking about things and how I was going to do it, and I went back to this same conference the following year and was a little disappointed, because it was kind of the same information that I had heard the first year, and I was really needing something else, something more in depth, the missing piece of the puzzle. And the really odd thing is I went to lunch with a group of people, of which Eric was one, and Sean was the other. And I don't know if Sean remembers this or not, but it's a great story, and I have to tell it because, to me, I feel like I was witness to the birth of NPE. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's how I feel. We were discussing the conference, and Sean said, this is the same stuff that we heard last year, and I just can't believe this. You pay all this money and come to this, and you get the same stuff over and over. And he was eating, had his fork, and he just kind of threw his fork down on the plate and goes, "I can do better than this." And a couple of years later, that was it. NPE was born. And when that happened, and I was getting Eric's emails, and it was starting to talk about NPE and partnership with Sean, I thought I've got to hitch my wagon to that team, because if I'm going to be successful, they're the ones that's going to help me get there. And that's how it all happened. That's how I came around to NPE. I mean, you guys were brand new, but I had every confidence that that's where I was going to have to be. The first thing I did with NPE was Gold Plus. Signed up for that, started getting signing on to the webinars, getting CDs, newsletters, things like that, and it was exactly what I was hoping for, exactly what I had been looking for, to start, the juices flowing, to start teaching me how to be a business person, because I'm not at all. I think very creatively. I'm numbers, we don't get along. I barely got through college algebra. I don't think that way. But I knew that I could start thinking that way with the guidance of NPE. So Gold Plus was great. It gave me a ton of tools, but it really started creating even more questions, because it was giving me a lot of really good answers, but it really did create, well, okay, if I do this, then what happens? And how do I take this piece and plug it in and make it even bigger so that I can start running my own business? And that's when I got this black envelope in the mail, opened it up, and it was talking about this platinum program. You've got to be a part of the platinum program if you want to be a successful business owner. And it gave criteria for people who should consider applying. And I didn't meet any of them. It was, you need to have your own facility, you need to have, I think it was 25 plus clients, been in business for at least a year, or maybe it was 2, I think it was a year. And I didn't have a studio. I had, I think, 10 clients. I was just, doing personal training. Nothing. I didn't meet any of them, but I filled it out anyway. And I looked at it as, if I do want these things, then this is the only way I'm going to be able to get there, because I don't know how to get there. I just know I want to be there. And I thought, if I can make a good case on paper, and if I can just get to the interview, if I can get them on the phone, I can sell myself. And that's what happened. I guess I did a good sales job on paper, and they called me up and they gave me an interview. And when I got them on the phone, it was like, I'm not getting off of here until I think that they're going to let me in. So it was just go for broke, leave it all on the table, which was really kind of very unlike me, because usually I would have looked at it and go, well, I don't meet any of the criteria, so darn, I can't do it. But I'm really, really happy that I did. The first course I took with NPE was Auto Closer, and that's because I had been a personal trainer, and it was session to session, pay as you go, and I knew that if I wanted to keep a facility open, there was no way that was going to work, so I needed to learn how to sell. The first guy sat down in front of me, I channeled Dick, I did the steps exactly the way he had taught me how to do them, and when I brought the slide up with the pricing on it, he took a minute and looked at it, and he said, well, the amount of weight I need to lose and the shape I'm in now, I guess I better take the 75 sessions. And that was auto closer first time. Second sale was 100 sessions. So it worked exactly the way Dick said it should work. It worked so well, matter of fact, that I was hiring a trainer 2 months before I thought I was going to have to. And because of implementing it and it doing so well and closing so many sales, year one, we grossed $250,000, which to me was amazing, absolutely amazing to do right out of the box.
Awesome. Do you remember how much the first sale was worth to your business, and then that first month you were open, what those numbers were?
Yeah, the first sale was $5,600, which blew me away. Our first month, we grossed $45,000, which, you know, is just unheard of, absolutely unheard of. I was the happiest human being on earth. Duplicator is really what allowed us to recover from the success of auto closer. All of a sudden you have all of these people who want to train with you. I had to hire a trainer much sooner than I thought I was going to need to. And I didn't know how to do that. I didn't have a system in place for how to train them, how to bring them on, make sure that they knew what they needed to know, and that's exactly what Duplicator taught me. And again, it's all about, you know, systems, putting them in place, having things well thought out, knowing which step to take next. Duplicator gave me the tools to know how to hire somebody, the things that I needed to put together, so that they didn't just walk in and with no plan of action. And without it, there's no way that I don't think even today I could be operating as smoothly as I am, because the lessons learned from there just continue to keep on giving, you know, year after year. The past year has absolutely been the most amazing year of my life. And so I want to say to you guys, you know what, you've changed my life. Winning NPE Member of the Year in 2008 was one of the highlights of my life. And I've had a really fun life. I've done lots of wild and crazy things, and you know, I've never been bored, let me put it that way. But being recognized by this group of peers that I have come to consider, you know, kind of a second family, really, and someone like Eric, and someone like Sean, whom I admire greatly. I think that he is a brilliant mind and has a good heart for helping all these people do what they do. Winning that award was absolutely amazing. Getting to present in front of that group of people, because I really did feel like such a novice. I mean, it was my first year to own a business. I was in here with a lot of people who had had so much more experience. And when my name was announced and I walked up on that stage, I felt absolutely 10 feet tall. Because, see, I'm getting chill bumps. I don't know if you can see that, but it was a major, major accomplishment. And I'm coming gunning again. So all you new guys out there, bring it. I'm ready. We did great our first year. I mean, we did $250,000 year one, which to me was spectacular. I mean, I would have never thought that we could have done that. It really just kind of blew my mind. We were able to manage growth. We were able to add great staff, new programs, all within a very short span of time. And that first year was scary, really, really scary. But having NPE there with us made it at least manageable, where you could go to sleep at night. Year two just started off gangbusters. And I think when I looked at the number that's sticking in my head is we had growth of 154% over year one, and exceeded. We came in close to about 400,000 for year two, and the staff I have now is just clicking. They're great, and it's allowed me to get really great people and pay them what they need to be paid so that they can continue to contribute to the studio and the growth of it. And I think when we plug in the nutrition part, that it's just going to keep going. Hey, I'm Shana Ross with Shana Ross Fitness. We're going to do a quick, healthy dinner that you can easily do after a hard day's work. It's going to take you less than 10 minutes to make this beautiful, nutritious meal. I'm aiming for the $1 Million Club within the next 3 years. What NPE has helped me do more than anything is keep bringing me back to center when I tend to get off on polar opposite ends. All I have to do is just stop and think about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. You know, what's distracting me. I think Sean calls it being distracted by shiny objects. You know, it brings me back to center and gives me the tools that I need to stop doing that and focus and keep moving forward. That's been the biggest part for me.